Good afternoon, friends. This is in continuation to my earlier video, which you must have seen on TP Act, what JP Mittal says. So now in this video, I will actually demolish that statement, that written order of his, and the various high courts and Supreme Court which has affected that because we are a grant and subjected to the rule 2 of that grant, so our registries are of immaterial. So JP Mittal in his cantonment volumes 1, 2, 3 is writing all these facts. So let's very quickly rebrush what I said in my earlier video, that the Queen had given in 1600 a charter to the East India Company, and Captain West, for the first time by the orders of the Mughal Emperor, created in 1613 a factory in Surat. Then various in 1634 and 1639 in various Bengal and Madras presidencies. In 1773, a charter in May was approved by the Parliament of British that all acquisitions made under the influence of a military force or by a treaty with foreign princes do of the right belong to the state. So that means do of the right, that the ruler gives away all his rights. Now friends, Registration Act as per JP Mittal is not applicable, and prior to the 1889 Cantonment Act, section 32, there was no need to keep registered documents. So this was for the first time, he says. So there was no law which was required prior to 1889 where any registration or any document could forthcome. So he makes all documents prior to 1889 redundant. So now let's go. I will demolish this fact of Mr. Mittal. Now does TP Act apply on us? Or do we come under the Grant Act? There are so many documents which I have seen that there are sale deeds coming from 1845. Remember a case of Purushottam Das Tandon where he had shown in Exhibit P2 a sale deed of 1842 by some Mrs. James. So, how did that sale deed happen? Why the grant is not to be registered? The GGO very suffixically 179 says that the grant has to be registered. Now, registered under what? But JP Mittal says no, we don't need to keep this grant. We don't need to bring this grant on table because there was no law, because the grant was in a form of an application or a sanction letter. Is he trying to fool the GGO 179 by itself, which is a law or statute? He's actually trying to, cobweb us into various rules and laws. So now we'll go in a reverse order. TP Act came in 1882. A Registration Act came in 1877, which is yet a law in force. Now these documents, or the first time the word documentation came in these acts. Then under various regulations, rules and acts, under section 10 of Act 1865, the maintenance of sale deeds started happening in India. And they had to be kept. Now what is JP trying to say? That we need to understand. Now I'll tell you the 4 statutes which were further repealed by the Governor Generals. But these statutes, if once enacted or acted upon, are in force. Now we'll go back to the Bengal Regulation 1 of 1798, which very clearly said that registration of sale deed had to be done, or a transfer of some document. Then the Regulation 17 of 1806 said, but these were lately repealed. Similarly, there was the Bombay Regulation 5 of 1827. One of its Regulation 17 section was repealed. Similarly, an Act 9 of 1842, the Governor General and Council, which lately repealed, had said that documents will be registered. So there were documents. What are we trying to say? This is where I say that Janampatri is very important. There were other statutes and acts. or regulations which have expressively been repealed, but they prevail till date. Why? Bengal Regulation 8 of 1819, the Awadh Law Act of 1876, the Punjab Law Act of 1872. So all sale deeds, registers, transfers, whatever documents are there. I told you in that earlier Janam Patri video that I have a sale deed of 1865 where a Secretary of State India is selling a bungalow to one of its owners. So now we will demolish one by one what J.P. Mittal says and where the honorable courts have interpreted us wrong. The first Cantonment Act 1864 in its Rule 10, what does it say? Cantonment may be declared a sub-district under Registration Act. Any military cantonment may be declared by the local government to be a sub-district for the purpose of 1864 Act. Further on, to provide registration assurance, the cantonment magistrate may be declared a deputy registrar. Powers are given to him under Act 35 of 1864. So registrations were there. What is Mr. J.P. Mittal stating? That no registrations were there prior to 1889. Do I clear myself now? He is absolutely speaking a false narrative, a fraud narrative, that there were no sale deeds. There were sale deeds under the registration certification of 1798, 1809, 1842 and finally the 1877 Registration Act. And then came the Cantonment Act 1864, which I just read. Then we will read the Cantonment Act 1824, 1889, J.P. Mittal agrees, Section 32. I will read the Cantonment Land Administration Rules in 1925 and 1937. Rule 10, which speaks the maintenance of General Land Register. What does it read? Every transfer of right or interest in land in the cantonment registered under Section 54, 59, 107 or 123 of the Transfers Property Act 1882, of which information has been sent to him. Him means the cantonment magistrate, under subsection 2 of Cantonment Act Section 287, 1924, by the board, will register and enter under the GLR the new owner of the bungalow or the resident of the cantonment. So am I now clear that TPA Act is applicable? We need to fish our sale deeds, and we do not come under the Crown Grant Act 1895. Friends, wake up. We are freehold properties. Because we were old grant, never converted into new grants. The Britishers had never imposed Lagan. We were revenue-free grants. I'm grateful. I'm imbibed. I thank everybody. I'm getting such a tremendous response on my videos. Please promote these videos to your neighbor, to anybody living in these cantonments. Let them watch them. Once this knowledge goes in, our relations will improve with everybody. Thank you. Good day.